Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another episode of E-Heroes. Now, today's kind of a special treat because I've never done this before. We're going to show a preview, a trailer of an upcoming project that my friend has been working on for a long time. His name is Ken McArthur, and he's going to teach you a little bit about having or creating impact. And his new movie is The Impact Factor. Is that right?
That's correct.
Welcome, and thanks for being here. And we'll show the preview in a little bit, but I've known you for a long time, followed you on Facebook, and I've known you've been working on this video for quite a while. And but it kind of stems from your best-selling book. Was it called Impact?
Right. It came, really through a series of live events. I've done live events with some of the top marketers in the world for years and years and years, and I noticed at those events that people's lives were being changed. That one person was impacting another, and sometimes you know how we really think that we don't make a difference at all. I mean, there's 7 billion people on the planet. How can one person have an impact at all? But the truth is that we all impact thousands of people just by existing. And if we leverage art, science, and technology, all that good stuff that we have now, we can literally impact millions of people. And so I wrote a book about that. It was called Impact: How to Get Noticed, Motivate Millions, and Make a Difference in a Noisy World. We had a lot of luck with that book and started doing events around creating impact and all the different ways that you can do it. I mean, so many of the ways that you can generate a mass audience, or how you can use publishing or radio, television, all the different medias that we have to move a message out to millions. And we tried to put that into practice a little bit too. So we kind of adopted a test project because I wanted to prove the concepts in the book. And we adopted a guy by the name of Jeremiah, who was living on the south side of Chicago and had, as a teenager, almost committed suicide. And then later in his life, he actually went back to help at risk kids that were in the Chicago school systems, south side of Chicago, one of the roughest areas in the country. And we we just spent a an event, an impact action team, and we were able to get a simple message of hope out to 30 million people over the course of 30 days. And then we took that kind of on the road to Brendan Burchard's Life's Golden Ticket event. We got it out to another 1.9 million, just to prove the idea that we actually can impact people, we actually can reach people. And this movie's kind of gone on from there, so it's like an extension, one thing after another that we've done over the years. I put together a manifesto that is all about kind of that principle of we make a difference whether we want to or not. It would be nice to not make a difference. If you didn't, you could do whatever you wanted. You could say awful things to your spouse, it wouldn't make any difference. You could kick the dog, wouldn't make any difference. You could say anything you wanted. But the reality is a lot different. If you think about a mother, what if they do nothing with that child? That's the way that we get things like cycles of child abuse over the years, and all of those kinds of impacts that are negative. So you make a difference whether you want to or not.
Uh,
And I,
you talk about a noisy world. Social
yeah,
media, I think, made it even noisier. And I've
yeah,
I've written books on social media, and it's great. People love it, and we use it for marketing. But I've been noticing with all the negative connotations and Facebook slapping people and putting them in jail, and people are getting tired of social media, or
yeah,
they're gravitating towards newer things, which then creates more noise. So
yep.
where does it end? It probably doesn't.
Well, it started ending. It started ending with the news for me because so much news now is all negative, and it's focused on the divisions that we have, and it's all polarized, and it's all um, you have to be all for one thing or all for another, or you don't fit in, or you'll be thrown out, or you'll be censored, or whatever we do. And I made a conscious decision actually just recently. I hadn't been watching the network news for a long time, but I kept looking at the headlines going through the social media, and I just decided, I don't need to repeat half of that to my wife every single day. It was just upsetting her. So, you know, um, I think that if we can take the time to realize that we have so much more in common, we can do so much more working together than we ever could apart. If we celebrate the things that are positive that we do, I'm constantly surprised by the good nature of people and how much they'll do for each other when they're given a chance. If we don't put people down, uh, then it gets to be a pretty wonderful world to live in.
Yeah, it can be, but the like you said, the media is, I think, doing a very good job in trying to split people apart.
Well, that's what sells news. Controversy, polarization. Even when I was doing my speaking events, you would find that the most polarizing speakers would be the ones that sold the most products. And that reason is because we're looking for people that are like us, or we're looking to be like uh, people that we see that we want to be like. And it's tough to take a step back and just think and see all of the beauty and differences that we have if we can go out and live another person's life. When I was preparing for this movie, I took the opportunity to actually go down to the Badlands of Philadelphia, which is another one of those worst drug infested areas of the country. It's the kind of area that you and me, looking the way that we do, we get a little bit nervous going into that situation. And I wanted to be a little bit nervous, so I started. I signed up with Uber and Lyft, and I started doing ride sharing stuff in that particular neighborhood, just to get a feel of what it was really like down there in that situation. And I'm not pretending that I know everything about what it's like to live down there. But here's what I noticed when I was driving an Uber in that area. I was able to impact people's lives every single day. And, maybe there was a young woman, probably, I don't know, maybe 21, maybe something like that. She had a 5-year old, I think, on her hand, and she was pregnant with her second child, and she was going to rehab for that day. And she just needed somebody to talk to because she'd been when she had the C-section for her first kid, she got hooked on oxycodone, and it just went downhill from there. There are so many times that just a simple kind word can make all the difference in the world. We can all do that every single day.
Yeah, and impacting doesn't have to be on a large scale. It can start with one person.
Yeah,
And it's the domino effect. I mean, you affect one person, they affect one person, and before you know it, a million people are following.
yeah. I mean, we heard those stories at my live events. One day, I put an entire 90-minute section together in Philadelphia, and I called up Frank Sousa, who was a longtime attendee. He had attended every single one of my events up to that point, and I said, "How has this changed your life?" And he went on and he started talking about the ways that it impacted his life. He'd done actually a multi-million dollar deal based on an idea on a napkin, literally at one of the networking events that we held with Mike Koenigs, and went on to found Traffic Geyser and do a bunch
Mhm.
of interesting things. But then I said, "Well, how about Frank? How has he impacted your life?" And we called up somebody else, and he talked about how Frank's generosity and his a good example had impacted their life. And then we called up another one from that one, and another one from that one, and another one from that one. It went on for 90 minutes straight. How one person had impacted another person. I mean, there were people alive today that wouldn't have been alive if it hadn't been for the fact that Frank showed up on a particular 3-day event that we did. If he just decided, I'm too tired to get up that day. If he just decided that he wasn't going to mess with it, he actually flew all the way from Spokane, Washington, to Philadelphia to be at this event just because he wanted to meet me, and he could have stayed home a heck of a lot easier than what he did. And the first event was just like 30 people that came together because I said, well, if Frank's coming all the way across the country, maybe we can get a bunch of other people together and we can, form some relationships and get to know each other. And so that's the result. I mean, you could look at the monetary side and you could say millions and millions and millions of dollars were made out of the fact that he showed up there. Or you could look at the human side and say, these people are married now because of the fact that they came and met at this event, or these people have a child now. There were there was a woman that got up and said, if it hadn't been for coming to this event, I would have died of cancer because of the fact that she was able to find an alternative treatment for her cancer. And right there in that 90-minute section, another person got up and said, you didn't know this, but you inspired me. I have the same story. And I'm standing here because you told your story. So we can all tell our story. We can all share the good things that happen to us, and it really does make an impact.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, you reached out to me and you invited me to one of your events, and I couldn't go because, either a family event that I already scheduled or something was going on. And
Yeah.
I could have been one of those stories. I could have been one of those people
You
that got
just never
impacted.
know. It's every single time that people to get together. I mean, I always said the greatest thing I ever did was just invite a bunch of wonderful people to spend some time together,
Mhm.
because that's what had the impact. That's what, caused those relationships. And it's been, I don't know, probably 13 years now since the first event that I did. And those those relationships from that very first event are still intact in many, many, many cases, still
Wow.
going on a decade later, so.
So where does the movie come in? I mean, how does that relate to what you're doing now?
Well, it relates in a couple of different ways. The movie's all about people within a 5 mile radius of Philadelphia City Hall, and within that 5 mile radius, you have the power brokers of City Hall. The people that you would think in terms of power, at least. You have a young political operative that's out there trying to get ahead and be ambitious and make a real impact in the community. And she learns the real story of impact, which I think comes on a much more personal level. And in that same 5 mile radius, you have areas like Kensington and Fair Hill, which are some of the drug infested areas of the country, and people are living down there and struggling and going through all kinds of things that you and I can't even imagine. And we see those people from all walks of life and how their small actions really make a huge difference for each other. So that's the impetus for the story. It's part of a 3 film series, actually. I did a short film that was designed to just prove that I could do a movie in the first place, or put together something that would go. And we did that to benefit over 100 nonprofit organizations and build awareness about how we make a difference whether we want to or not. And that was based on a manifesto that I did for Seth Godin's project called Change This. I wrote an impact manifesto that basically talked about those principles, and then did a short film about that. And then I had 2 more films I wanted to do in the trilogy. And the first one turned out to be this feature film. I worked with a 3-time Academy Award winning screenwriter and producer to help me polish the script. I worked with some great people in Philadelphia. I built a community of over, um, let's see, I think it's over 3,000 now, uh, filmmakers in Philadelphia to bring them together and to help them work on it. We built a cast of over 60 people. We filmed in 30 plus locations, and we were able to get all of that done in a very short period in Philadelphia just before COVID hit.
Hmm.
So, at the end of 2019, we got it all in the can, and then I've been working on post production and stuff like that ever since.
Well,
So, coming up,
let's run a quick.
you want to watch the clip?
Yeah, let's watch the clip. So everybody that's on audio, you might have to go to YouTube to watch the video to understand some of the background. But I I think it's going to be a really powerful movie.
Thank you.
Life's a penny walk. You make one choice differently, and absolutely nothing is the same.
Jayla's a tough kid. She's mad at everyone.
Hey!
Careful with this one, Destiny.
For the last 20 years, did you have clothes on your back? Big paid for that. Your big checkbook in the sky?
Do you want me to fix this? Or you try handling my job?
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll screw this up like everything else. It's the can't dance. You try to please everyone, you get screwed, and then who's left to deal with it?
Your work is all very impressive. You'll be the youngest chief of staff the mayor's ever had.
Gentlemen, my father was a councilman, and while he wasn't always attentive, the one thing he did give me was experience. I can handle it.
Can we at least agree on being exclusive? On paper, it makes perfect sense.
Let's see what happens. Just see where it leads us.
Doesn't it bother you? I mean, the guy's got a wife and kids, right? Ever think about what this does to them? Like, it doesn't matter. The ends justify the means.
I'm not trying to hurt anybody.
But you are, right?
My dad doesn't give a shit, and my mom doesn't know what day it is. Now all I got is you, and you're just some washed up do-gooder.
That's Sam Robbins' ward. He's not budging.
Destiny Drifting has been implicated in the political strong-arming of Sam Robbins. Miss Drifting is accused of deliberately tying up streets in Robbins' ward, which caused the death of 8-year-old Amanda Rawlings.
Let's make it happen. Find out exactly what Todd's done.
Destiny Drifting is going to prison if I have any say in it.
Nothing about justice is black and white. To get control, you gotta take it.
It's simple. The mayor is bad. You cut out the bad before it rots the good. Whatever it takes.
I have not had contact with that woman that wasn't entirely professional.
I just got another call and you're not gonna like it. We got 15 minutes to get downtown.
Wow.
There you go. It's been an adventure, Rob.
Yes, I mean, I remember you putting out notices. I guess it was 2018, 2019 for people interested in being part of this movie, and it just amazes me how much time and effort is put into a movie, not only to create a trailer but to create all the post production, the marketing, everything, and then with COVID, it just there's a lot that people don't realize.
Yeah.
I think when people think about movies, maybe they think of Star Wars and they think, oh wow, it was 2 years and they just put the movie out. There's a lot of time that goes into editing and special effects and
You would be amazed how many films that you know and love took at least a decade to make that film. And that was with a team of, maybe 300 people on the post production staff alone or something like that. And that doesn't even count, people that are on publicity and creating that sort of stuff with a budget. We were really fortunate to be able to do this with the help of some amazing people through a Kickstarter campaign that we were able to successfully fund and to kick things off a little bit. But it's an independent film, and I think I think I'm pretty proud of what our team did working together. To be able to do a movie like this on a budget like we had, and to get it out to the world is an accomplishment in itself. And I'm not patting myself on the back for that. I'm patting my team and all the people, literally hundreds and hundreds of people that were involved in doing everything from taking off from their jobs to try and be there um, for filming or for all the long hours of work that they put in. I mean, the original compositions that go with this, we have an entirely unique composition soundtrack for the movie that was written by an amazing award-winning film composer, Michael Ingesser. Just the music alone is pretty amazing. So lots of people working really hard to make something like this happen, and we're not done yet because we are just starting the 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 final part of post production to polish everything up and to get that ready. But then you have to get it out to festivals, and then you have to get distribution for it, and all of those sorts of things, and we have to get it out to the world. And that's kind of what my mission in life is right now, is to try and get this out to as many people as I possibly can. For the last year and a half, I've been putting off interviews and stuff like that, turning down a lot of people just because I needed to focus on what I was doing. But now's the time to get the word out to people, and we have a lot of people supporting us. We've got a little Indiegogo campaign that we're working on now to try and make sure that we get the word out to people, and we're offering people early access to the movie and some wonderful perks and materials and stuff like that to help us get it out to as many people as possible. But uh, that's uh, that's where we're at now. Every day, I tell myself one step at a time, and you do what you can today, and you keep moving, and it's gotten us this far, and hopefully it'll get us the rest of the way.
You brought up some points there where you were quiet for a while. You didn't do podcasting, you didn't do marketing, you didn't do any of this stuff so that you could focus. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening, I've been there, I've done this, is that we get excited about something and we just want to tell everybody. And now our goal then is, let's tell as many people as we can, but we haven't even finished the darn thing. And now all these people are expecting something right now, and now we got to spend the next 6 months working on this project or whatever we're working on. You did it the opposite way, and you did it the smart way, and you focused on getting it done. Now you're putting the marketing out there, and I think, like I said, entrepreneurs lose track of that, and I think they need to have a little bit more patience when it comes to focusing on the right avenue that they need to take.
It does take a lot of time and focus. I remember when I was mentoring Sterling Valentine, as he did a 30-day challenge to make $100,000 and build a mailing list of 10,000 people. And I told him at the beginning, you may have a 30-day campaign, but what you need to do is you need to focus on exactly what you're going to do in that time frame, and what the the markers are that you really need to meet along the way. And he dodged a few of them. I wish we'd had at least 10 times as much time as we did. But he did make his goal, and that's about focusing in on what needs to be done, executing on it. There's so many people that dream big and want to do big things, and then can't pull together the execution. And I think it's just because they don't make the commitment to do it. Persistence is such a huge factor in all of these things. If I told you how many times I'd like to have said, "Yeah, let's just forget all this stuff," and but I had commitments, right? I made a public commitment that I was going to make this thing, and I maintained being able to do what I promised pretty much all through my career. So why stop now?
So let's talk about those film festivals. I mean, I've never been to one.
Yeah.
I know they exist because I see the you know, they're all over the place. Is there ones that are better than others? Is there are the ones overseas more profit? I mean, I can't say profitable, but are they more productive?
Well, the whole festival scene has changed with COVID, of course. Film festivals were hit really, really hard by all the COVID restrictions that we have. Obviously, movie theaters weren't even open for a long time. Now we're just getting up to the point where we can start having some screenings in some areas and actually have a movie out in the theater. I'm planning to do a private screening for the backers of the film in June or July. And for a long time, you could only put 25 people in a theater. And now it's up to about 75 dispersed out, for at least for the theater that I'm considering doing this in, and that's at 25% capacity. So, you have to spread them out. You have to wear masks. You have to do all the things that we have to do to be responsible. And yet, it's starting to open up and change. There are uh, top tier festivals. You think of Sundance, or you think of Cannes, or you think of those huge festivals. And then there's really good festivals like South by Southwest or Austin, or those kinds of events that can really get you some traction for a movie. And then there's thousands of festivals all over the world, which range from somebody that really loves movies and gets together a bunch of friends, or scams that just charge film goers to basically submit fees to them so that they can rob their money. So it's a swampy world out there sometimes when we, just like looking at internet marketing or anything else. There's good people and bad people, and we try and navigate those waters the best that we can. That's just part of the distribution plan that we have for the Impact Factor movie. There's lots of ways I want to be able to get this movie out. As you know, I've been studying and fascinated by building mass audiences for all of my career and all of my life before my career. So that's kind of a hobby for me, if nothing else, is to how do you build a mass audience? How do you get people to see something that you think is important and listen to you? So we're going to work all of the different channels. I spent about 3 months solid just putting together the distribution plan for this and how we sequence that and how we can do it. But independent filmmakers now have a lot of platforms available to them. We can go on Netflix, we can go on iTunes, we can go on Amazon Prime or Hulu or Tubi or any of those streaming services, and we can kind of put those out over a period of time, and you can actually make some decent money with a movie if you do it right.
Now, for all those that are listening, you don't have to create a movie to make an impact. Although Ken has created a very good movie, and I think that you guys should all go see it. But it's creating that impact one person at a time. Yeah, it does take time, and some of us don't always have the luxury of creating massive audiences. Ken has been doing this a long time, and he has amassed a lot of, I would say, a collection of very influential people that can help him make further impacts. For the average listener, the average entrepreneur, some of you guys are just starting out. And so you may think, oh my God, how am I supposed to make an impact? I'm just this little cog in the wheel, you know, focus, be patient, and just keep meeting new people. It's going to come to you.
I was telling you earlier that the greatest thing I've ever done is just bring a few people together, because working together we can do so much more than we ever could apart. And when you share the things that you can that you have, and you try to help other people, and you try to have a positive impact in people's lives, they notice, and they say, "Hey, this is pretty good. Let's keep doing this." And we've been able to do that for many, many years, but there is no time to start doing that that's better than right this second. So anybody can help anybody else at any time. Start today and make something happen.
So, for those who want to get Ken's book, where do they go, Ken?
Well, you can do a search. Actually, don't search for Impact. You can because there's so many things on Impact. But you
Buy
can
'em
search
all.
for Ken McArthur online anywhere, and you can go to the you can go to impactfactormovie.com. As a matter of fact, if people want to get an early peek at the movie and stuff like that, you can go to impactfactormovie.com, and we have a campaign which is impactfactormovie.com/perks, which will actually let you get first access to the movie and stuff like that if people are interested in that movie, or even attend a private screening when we launch in July or August or something like that. So those are things that you can do. And if you just want to go to Amazon or something like that and search for Ken McArthur, there are a couple of books out there. The first one that I wrote was a hardcover book, traditionally published, and I still love it, and I have it on my shelf to this day because it reminds me of what the heck I should be doing. And the second one is called The Impact Factor, and it's great extensions on that theories, things that I learned after I wrote the first book. So enjoy them. I hope that they change your life in some small way, and that we can all make an impact in a positive way.
And you're in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm in the suburbs of Philadelphia. Yeah, so
So if anybody's interested, they can always stop in and to Philadelphia if you're out there and you want to meet Ken in person, have a coffee or a chat.
I haven't had a lot of time for coffee these days, but maybe I'll be getting out a little bit more. Who knows?
Yeah, you have to promote the film and have coffee with everybody. But
Yeah,
yeah,
sounds great.
I haven't been to Philadelphia in a long time, even though I have siblings that live there. And
Well, come on up. We'll get together.
yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be cool. So all those that are listening, please go to impactfactormovie.com and take a look at what Ken's doing and be supportive. And I think that you're going to really like this movie when it comes out. I think it's going to change how you perceive and impact others. And I think Ken you have another website called your name. I guess it's kenmcarthur.com.
KenMcArthur.com. Yeah.
And so they can go there and this is what makes Ken an e-hero. He's always out there. You're trying to make the world a better place. So
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, Rob. I really appreciate it.
For all you guys, I'll see you guys on the next episode and have a great day.